Welcome to another episode of the Mad Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Begley, Goni, and Wayne.
What is up, Mad Mob? We have Phase 2 of our weekly matchups, taking care of all the remaining games, the 4 o'clock, Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football, where we give you our starts and sits, go over the Vegas odds and our picks to win the games. Also, this episode, we are going to go over our DFS lineups in our 1v1v1 head-to-head matchup for the ultimate doink. One half of it on one and one half of it on the other if you win. And then we're going to take a few questions at the end of it. We love doing the Q&As. We hate that we're not able to do a dedicated Q&A during the season, but that's just something that we had to sacrifice to get all the other content out throughout the life of the season. And we might do a little 20-30 minute episode on Saturday that we throw out for y'all, but yeah, we're going to take a few Q&As at the end of this one. It's going to be a good time.
Looking forward to it, man. I look forward to dunking my DFS lineup on you gentlemen this week. I love it.
No, not going to happen. Not going to happen. You're coming in last.
No.
Yeah.
Let's put a doink on it. Let's put a doink on it. Whoever is last just gets doinked by the other.
There it goes.
Ledger.
So we're putting a doink on week 1 matchup?
Absolutely. I mean, or are we already tracking this as a separate stat?
There's a doink on our overall record.
Okay, fair enough then. Fair enough. Let's just keep it that way.
Don't spread out your L's. I mean, you're gonna take one massive L. Don't take a lot of mini L's along your way to taking one massive L. I just don't think you can handle it.
That's fair. That's fair. Hey, you care if I take over the intro this week before we get into the games?
Let him get one. Let him get one in there.
Man. All right.
Take it away, Biggs.
Listen, boys, I did a super flex draft early this week. It kind of got sprung on me last minute. I didn't do my research and look at all the league scoring settings, which, pro tip, always do that before you draft. It's a 3 wide receiver league. I didn't know that, so I drafted running backs early, and my wide receivers are looking kind of gross now. But I walked away from the draft looking at my team, extremely disappointed, wanted to know what in the world I was thinking while I was drafting. Don't let that ruin your fantasy season. There's a lot of waiver plays, a lot of trades. But I wanted to ask you guys, let's say we get in the middle of the year. Let's say I'm in purgatory. I'm 2-3, 2-4. Not the worst team in the league, but definitely not going to make the playoffs. Are you guys a fan of blowing it up and try to just get picks? Or do you guys ride it out and trust your waiver play? Try to sneak in the playoffs?
I always trust in my waiver abilities.
Yeah.
There definitely is a point. I mean, if you're 2-4 and your 2 wins came against 2 teams that had absolute dumpster fire of a week, and that's the only reason you won those 2 games, you're almost halfway into the fantasy season at 2-4. It just depends. It depends what your league. If your league is very competitive, Begley, I know we're in a super competitive league where the last place person gets 5 wins at the end of the year.
Yeah.
If it's super competitive and you feel like you can sneak into the playoffs with six-ish wins, trust your waiver wire options. I mean, that being said, it's a dynasty. You really just gotta take a look at the league, the competitiveness of it. In my opinion, I'll let Goni speak on it, and just your ability to work the waivers. You gotta trust your ability to work the waivers, or you gotta tune in every Tuesday morning for our scabs and grabs.
Absolutely.
Good plug. For me, man, it's really, if you're 2-3, that means you have a couple weeks left until the trade deadline.
Right.
So, like Wayne said, hopefully you find one of these diamonds in the rough on the waiver wire, one of the gems, if you will, And really, for me, every year, I always look to see who the players are going to be coming to, the trade deadline. Really, you got your buyers and your sellers. So I feel like, especially if you're in a dynasty, you need to figure out which one of those you're going to be. Sometimes you're just good and you want to stand pat. But if you're in a 2 and 3 position, I'm still going to ride it out a little bit. See if I can pick up a couple more wins. Maybe something fortunate happens. But yeah, if you think you're not going to be in playoff contention, then I'm a seller. I'm a seller. You have to rebuild. If you're only winning 4 or 5 games in your dynasty league, your team's not going to get better next year by getting a year older. Just straight up, it's not going to happen. You got to make moves. You got to make things happen yourself.
Once you get to the playoffs, it's everybody's game.
Just get hot. 3 weeks, get hot.
Absolutely. And last thing, Gone, number one friend of the podcast, had a doink, right? That was presented to you, sir.
Sir Charles Brown. He did. He wanted me to ask you, PPR format.
Okay.
Best fantasy finish for the year.
Okay.
Gabe Davis. I get Gabe Davis, obviously. And he wanted to know if you would take Rashad Bateman. This would be a you versus Charles. Let's bring Charles in on this one first, as far as that goes. Yeah. You take Rashad Bateman. He takes Gabe Davis.
I tell you what I'll do. I don't mind I don't mind Bateman. I'm not willing to take him against Gabe Davis, but I will counter with a Hollywood Brown for Gabe Davis. Let's put our heroes together here, man. Charles, if you beat me, we'll send you some swag, man, from the podcast, if you're willing to take that.
All right, Charles, let us know.
If I beat you, you'll be demoted to not first fan of the podcast, maybe second or third.
Oh, no. A lot to lose here.
All right. Solid effort, Begley. I mean,
decent intro.
Not nearly as good as what I would have done. I mean, I had some crazy stuff that I was going to do.
You did a fine job.
Yeah, I was going to get out of my chair. There was going to be a lot that was going to be done in that intro, and you just railroaded it. But, I mean, you did okay.
Hey, let's look back real quick. I checked out the analytics. I got booed as soon as I took the mic on my solo hosting, and it's the number 3 show for us so far.
Well, yeah, I titled it to really bring people in. So even though you did the intro, I still brought the people in.
Did you hear Wayne and I announcements in that show? That's what carried it. Honestly, they came back to re-listen to us.
The title. I mean, the title is really what really nailed that one home. So you're not good, man. You're not good.
It's titled Goni Hosting is literally the title.
It's titled Pigs Flying and Goni Hosting. I got him in.
Goni Hosting, like I said.
I got him in. Okay. Our 4 o'clock games. You both suck. I'm the greatest. Our 4 o'clock games, starting with the Giants at Titans. It is the Giants plus 5.5. The over/under is at 43.5.
Lock of the week for me, taking the Giants plus 5.5, and I'm taking the over.
I think this is Begley's 3rd lock of the week.
No.
Yeah.
This is my afternoon lock. Can I say that?
You can say that.
It's my afternoon
lock of the week.
Do you all know how hard it is for the Giants to be as bad on offense this year as they have been the last 2 years under Jason Garrett? It's almost not statistically possible.
There's a word for it. It's called average. That's just their average play.
But they have to get better. It's just how math works.
They don't have to. They don't.
No, that's not how math works. Sometimes that's your average.
I trust in Brian Daboll to get this offense back on track. I think this line's a little too high for me. I think this needs to be more like 2.5. I like Kadarius Toney. I like Rondelle Robinson these week as dark horse flex plays. If you're in deep leagues, I like Saquon as a flex play. I don't love him as your RB1, but I like him as a flex play. Danny Jones even. They're going to be better. They're going to be better than what they were last year.
Over under 0.5 Giants players getting hurt this week.
I think Kenny Galladay's already hurt. You mean like in the game?
In the game, yeah. New Giants players getting hurt this week.
I'm taking
over under 0.5.
Galladay's pulling a hammy, guaranteed. But yeah, I actually like the Giants this year as sneaky fantasy plays. But look, the star of this game is going to be Derrick Henry. He's going to get 25 carries, probably put 130 yards up.
Yeah, I'm taking the Titans here on this one, and I it's easy for me, honestly. I'm going to take the under as well. I'm interested to see Treylon Burks debut in the offense. I know I have a doink against him, but he's a young rookie wide receiver, so you want to see how these guys do. Hopefully, another superstar in the league somewhere. Just better players equals better football, right?
He's not even going to be starting though. Did you see that? Westbrook Akine is the number 2 on the depth chart now.
Oh, I didn't. Let's go. Doink bet for me.
And Kyle Phillips is your starting slot receiver. He's probably the better rookie over Burks. It's looking like he was their third rounder at UCLA.
Yeah, I mean, I placed the doink that way. So Robert Woods.
You're worried right now. You got to be.
No. Robert Woods, I'd like to see, how he is involved in the offense. He was a consistency machine with the Rams. So I'd like to see the kind of volume that he gets. But I mean, Titans football, man, you run the football and you play good defense. And I just don't think the Giants are good enough. So Titans in the under.
I'm taking the Titans and the under as well. I think that the Giants might look a little bit better than what they will the rest of this year. I mean, Titans just lost Harold Landry for the year with a torn ACL. That's a big body. That's a big body at the second level, 6'2", 250. I mean, the dude's a monster. That might be that's definitely making some Saquon investors happy that he's not there. I think the Giants put up offensively. I think the Giants look better this week than what they actually are. Okay. But that's going to be the case for a lot of these bad teams. When you have a whole offseason to script for one game, then you're going to look better than what you actually are. That being said, the Titans just have too much firepower on offense that I just feel like the Giants just are not capable of stopping. I think Treylon Burks is in there, and I think he has a pretty decent debut. I think Derrick Henry has his way. I mean, he's obviously the focal point. I don't think they're able to stop him. That being said, the Titans obviously have less firepower than they did last year, so I don't think they score a lot. That's why I'm sticking with the under here, and it's hard taking a line at 5.5 and the under, but I think this is definitely the game to do it.
Treylon Burks over under line 25.5 yards.
I'll take the over on that.
I'm gonna take the under, man. I mean, with Westbrook Akine being named the number 2, that worries me. How does he get on the field?
I don't know. He's got asthma.
He'll get out there.
We'll see.
He'll get out there. All right. Our next game, and this is a fun one. This is going to be a good one to watch. The Chiefs at Cardinals. Chiefs minus 6.5 with a 53.5 over under.
This is another one I'm taking on points. I love these big spreads. I think Kansas City takes a little while to figure it out. They're going to have to determine kind of the roles in the pecking order on offense. I mean, unless Juju comes out of the gate hot, being that guy. Love James Conner in this one. Love Hollywood Brown. You look at the Chiefs secondary, they lost Tyrann Mathieu, didn't really replace him with anybody. Love Rondelle Moore. And I love Travis Kelce, of course. He's an absolute must play this week. I actually like Clyde Edwards-Helaire as a sneaky flex play this week.
Does Rondelle Moore play this week?
I think so. Is he been ruled out?
He hasn't been ruled out yet. I know he's just been dealing with injuries and stuff. I was actually thinking that I think AJ Green is currently the highest up on the depth chart as of right now.
Sounds right.
To take the field. So with that being said, give me the Chiefs, and I'm going to take the under, I think, on it. Same. I want to see what the Chiefs do with life after Tyreek Hill. I want to see the snap share for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I want to see what Isaiah Pacheco does, if he gets any playing time at all. And even just to see, who might be second in the pecking order for that backfield. So, we've got a lot to find out here. I mean, Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown is okay, right? He's good to go.
What?
Begley's champion. Yeah. What do you think about it, Wayne?
That's a lot of points. I'm going to go with the Cardinals plus 6.5 on this one. The Chiefs historically start slow, and with this many shakeups in their offense, obviously the quantity isn't necessarily a lot, but the quality of the shakeup is a lot. Losing Tyreek Hill, they don't have much of a run game. I mean, CEH has been just the epitome of average ever since they drafted him. I think the only thing that's holding the Cardinals back is they're missing a lot of people. I mean, obviously D-Hop, and if AJ Green's like your number one, then disgusting. But I think they do enough. He's still got Zach Ertz. I think James Conner is going to have a decent game. I think James Conner is. I'm faded him a little bit than what the ADP had him this year. But I think he does okay. I just think 6.5 points is a lot for a Chiefs team that historically starts slow and lost one of the best receivers in the NFL in the offseason. So, pounding the under as well. Yeah.
Don't forget, man, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, same points per game as Javonte Williams. If he can stay healthy, he's a decent fantasy running back.
But his ceiling and his floor are so close. That's why I'm not a fan of him. Like, his floor is 10 and his ceiling is 15. Like, he's gonna get you 12 and 13 points almost every week. And if you're happy with that, great. I'm not. I try and find a guy that's gonna get me that has that 20-point potential from a week to week basis. And CEH ain't that guy.
So you're saying he's the Josh Jacobs light of the NFL?
Yeah.
Okay.
Josh Jacobs better than that. Don't disrespect that man.
He won't be this year, I don't think. I think Clyde's got a better range of outcomes than Josh Jacobs.
What a beautiful segue. Our next game is the Raiders at Chargers.
You want to put a doink on it?
Oh, okay. Pause. Let's go.
You segued, and he opened the door for it, and I am going to absolutely dunk it on his head.
I said range of outcomes. Listen, let it be known. I said range of outcomes. So I wasn't dying on the Clyde Edwards-Helaire hill, but
it's a bad hill to die on.
It's a dice roll. Zamir White's got a lot of touches. He looked good. Amir Abdullah.
A lot of touches. Wow. All the touches for Abdullah.
You know what, Goni? For the sake of the podcast, let's lock in the doink. I'll take Edwards-Helaire. I'll give you Jacobs. That's a dice roll for me. I'm okay to lose that
one. My man, I appreciate your willingness to lose.
Let's gamble.
We've got a doink on the line, and I think this is the most this is a very even doink. CEH has RBs breathing down his neck, as does Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs will not be a Raider next year, most likely.
Nope. He's getting Josh McDaniels as we speak. He's splitting carries. 4 carries a week, he'll be happy.
I just don't like CEH. I don't like him. I'm going Josh Jacobs if I had to pick here.
I get it. It's a health thing, right? Even if for nothing else, right?
It's close. It's not a hard pass on CEH in this bet. It's close. But yeah, I'm not a big fan. I think Josh Jacobs is going to have a couple. He always does every year. He has like 4-ish games where he drops like 25. And CEH just doesn't have those games.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to lean on the Chiefs running game this year because the receivers just aren't there. We'll see.
All right, we're official. Go ahead, Beggs. Or Wayne, sorry.
Apology accepted.
No apology.
Play back. There's an apology. Mad Mob, if you didn't know, Goni, Gunny would refuse to apologize to me. So whenever he does it and doesn't realize that he does it, I have to bring attention to it and acknowledge his apology, in which I accepted that you just did. I appreciate it. Our next game is Raiders at Chargers.
Definitely didn't mean it, though.
Chargers -3. The over-under is at 52. This is a good one. I'm excited for this one. This is a great divisional matchup with one high-powered offense and one pretty good offense. I'm taking the Chargers -3. They're in LA, and give me the over. Give me the over on this game at 52.5. Give me the over. Everybody wants to see what the Devontae Adams Derek Carr matchup is gonna bring. I just think LAC has way too many weapons in the backfield. Just Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Justin Herbert, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I think this is an absolute shootout. I think this is a lock for the over. Speaking of which, Goni, I know you texted me about what games I wanted to bet on this week. I would like the over on this game.
Fair enough.
I just think it's a lock, the over on this one. I know the Chargers went out and got Khalil Mack, but this is past prime Khalil Mack. He's still top tier, but he's not like the Khalil Mack that like solo changes the game. I don't know. I don't see how the Raiders win this one though.
I agree. Chargers -3. I'm taking the over, but I think the only thing that's going to bust the over, if it does get busted, is the Chargers, Bosa, and Mack are going to eat. And the Raiders have turnstiles for left and right tackles this year. That's, to me, that's the biggest question mark. Like, I'm playing every Raider, and I'm playing every Charger I've got. Definitely this year, or this week, I mean. But the pressure on Carr is going to scare me a little bit.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm taking the Chargers. Wayne, I don't know if I love the over though.
We can never agree, man.
The parlay bet, I know. Man.
I tell you what, it's a grind.
One game to lose on.
Tease it down a little bit, man. Do a little sweetheart teaser on it.
I mean, I'm gonna take the over for this, just because I like it more than the under. I agree. I think this is going to be an absolute shootout. I'm not worried about the Chargers scoring points by any means. I'm more worried about the Raiders keeping up.
A 34-21. You don't see that happening?
Yeah, I mean it certainly could. It certainly could. I mean the Raiders could come out firing as well. I think Josh Jacobs has a pretty good game here. And like Begg said, I'm firing up every single player I have on either team. It's going to be a bloodbath. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, our next game is the Packers at Vikings. Packers -1.5. Over under is at 47. Get to see Aaron Rodgers without Devontae this week.
What was the spread again?
-1.5. Packers.
Wow. This is I'm avoiding. If I'm betting, I'm avoiding this game. I think altogether.
Go ahead.
Divisional game.
Yeah, I'm always taking points. I think in a divisional game. So give me the Vikings +1.5. I don't really feel great about it. I do like the under though. I think the Packers' formula this year is to run the ball. I mean, LaFleur came out and said it's wide receiver by committee this year. So everybody who reached for Allen Lazard in the fifth, you don't love to hear that. Plus, Allen Lazard may not be playing this week. I think right now he's questionable to doubtful. And so if he doesn't play, who are the weapons for the Packers on the field, man? I mean, Romeo Doubs, does he get to start? Christian Watson may be out. So is it Randall Cobb week? I mean,
Randall Cobb week. Is Tunyon out? Is Tunyon back yet?
Tunyon's questionable. He's a Hardy questionable too. So to me, the under is the play. I think Green Bay has to manage the clock, run the ball here. I'm really interested to see the Aaron Jones, how he's utilized this week. Is he split out wide more in the passing game? They run a lot of two-back sets. And interestingly enough, I think Adam Thielen is a solid play this week. I think Jair Alexander gets Jetta. He'll shadow him all over the field. I like Thielen.
Not bad.
I don't. I want to take Vikings plus 1.5. I'm not so sure I want to take the under, though. I mean, Jay Jett is going to get his. I agree with you on Adam Thielen. I think if there's a week that he's going to be a spicy play, it's this week. I'm really excited to see what Irv Smith does. He's rose in the ADP over the past couple of weeks. It's Aaron Rodgers, man. It's Aaron Rodgers. If me and Goni were out wide and you were in the slot running routes on an NFL field, I feel like Aaron Rodgers would find a way to get us the ball. I think I'm gonna take the under and give me the Vikings plus 1.5.
Yeah, Vikings plus 1.5. I kind of want to take the over, though, honestly, and I don't love it by any means. It's just that Aaron Rodgers they're going to, before the game, about 1 hour before kickoff, they're going to be in the stadium. Will the fans from section 326, row F, seat 7 and 8, come on down to the field? We need you to play wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers.
That's
today.
Fine, though. It's Aaron Rodgers.
I know. And that's why I think that the over's going to hit, because it's just, I don't know. I don't like ever betting against Aaron Rodgers by any means, but they start off slow traditionally. I think they got absolutely smacked by the Saints last year. I think it was the Saints last year.
They did. Week 1 opener.
Destroyed.
They got absolutely demolished.
And it happens like almost every year in one of the early games for the Packers. And then Aaron Rodgers has a press conference and he tells people to relax or this or that and blah, 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 blah. And then they go on to win like 10 of the next 13 games. So chalk it up. Vikings.
Goni Wayne, if you're in a deep league, Alan Lazard is out. Are you playing Randall Cobb or Sammy Watkins in the flex?
Sammy Watkins. Sammy Watkins has one good game a year, and it's usually the first game of the season, and then you never hear from him again.
Wayne?
I don't think I can start Randall Cobb anymore. And this is a diehard Kentucky football fan. It breaks my heart to say it, but Randall Cobb his time has come and gone. It's been a great career, but I think I don't know. I think he's used few and far between. He just doesn't really have the ability to get open like he used to.
Are either of you considering rostering Sammy Watkins this week?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, negative.
Absolutely not.
Big old negative on that. We got the best game of the week, bar none. It's not even an argument. Not even an argument.
Homers.
I'm not arguing.
Not even an argument. Best game of the week. It's Sunday Night Football, prime time for a reason. It is arguably, no, not even arguably, the best team in football by far. Going to be your Super Bowl champions this year, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, at hashtag This Is Our Year, Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys are at home and plus 2.5. What does that tell you?
Isn't it?
And the over-under is set at 51.
Isn't it Tampa?
It's in Tampa.
It's in Tampa. It's not at Dallas. It's in Tampa.
I'm looking at it right. It says Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Dallas Cowboys.
It's wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's Tampa. Let me double check.
Actually, it's Dallas, Goni. What we are looking at is wrong. Yes. Sorry.
Oh, wow.
See, Mad Mob, this is why I'm the host. This is why I'm the host, Mad Mob.
I apologize about I apologize.
Trust in Wayne. Trust in the info that I'm giving.
Yeah, sorry.
Just continue. You can continue.
Apology accepted, guys.
There was none.
Apology accepted.
There wasn't one.
What's the line on this one, Wayne? I ignored you after everything you said after you said it was at Tampa or in Dallas. I mean,
which it was, Mad Mob. Cowboys plus 2.5, and they're at home.
What's 2.5? I'm taking Dallas. Give me America's team and give me the points. By the way, that's why the game's in prime time, because Dallas, it's America's team.
Because the Buccaneers have the greatest quarterback of all time under center.
We bring the viewership. Give me Cowboys plus 2.5. What's the over/under on it?
It is 51.
I'm taking the under. I'm taking the under in a lot of Cowboys games. I don't think the offense is as potent. We're missing Gallup. Tolbert really struggled in the preseason. So right now it's looking like Schultz and Lamb and Zeke. I think we really rely on the run game. I think Tony Pollard is a legitimate flex play this week, even though Tampa's pretty good against the run. I think we find ways to get Pollard involved in the offense. Kellen Moore's on record saying that he wants to use him in a quote-unquote Debo role this year. So we'll see how that goes. If I'm Tampa, I'm a little worried about Mike Evans. You're playing him, but he's going to get the Diggs treatment. I think Chris Godwin is a must play, though. I think he feasts against Dallas this week.
You said he's going to get the Diggs treatment, like Diggs is going to lock him down or something. The guy who gave up the most passing yards over in the league last year.
I hope he gets the Diggs treatment.
Mike Evans is worried, boy.
He's
worried.
Hey, Diggs is a bad matchup for Mike. Diggs is a tall, physical corner.
He's not a bad matchup for anyone, man. Everyone roasts him.
Dude, I watched videos of him coming out of training camp, and it's kind of like the thing that you got to do as a corner. You keep your eyes on the hips. The feet are going to try and the feet and the head are always going to try and juke you. The hips can't juke you. The body's going where the hips are facing. If you're a cornerback, you got to stare at the hips. And there's videos of him just not looking at the hips at all and getting absolutely toasted on a route. And then there's videos of him absolutely deadlocked at the hips and just getting burnt. So not only is he inconsistent in how he's playing the role, but even when he plays it perfect, he's still getting shredded. He's not good. The reason he has the most interceptions is because quarterbacks aren't scared of him. They go for him, and he just eats on underthrown and overthrown balls.
You're right. You can't make any mistakes.
Tom Brady is not going to do that. Tom Brady ain't going to give him none of that stuff. Mike Evans ain't scared of him. He's going to absolutely demolish Trayvon Diggs. Nobody's worried about him.
If you throw at Diggs, you better be perfect. You said it best. You can't overthrow or underthrow the ball because my man's a ball hawk. He's got great hands. Hey, as a Tampa fan, I know you're a little worried about your offensive line this year. Big downgrade from last year. You got Micah Parsons. You got DeMarcus Lawrence. You're a little concerned. Be a lot of pressure on Tom Brady.
Yeah, but I think he gets the ball out quick. I think we have too many offensive weapons that he can go wherever he wants. He can go wherever he wants. You can't stack the box against us. I think Micah Parsons has to drop back into coverage more than anything.
I'm willing to put Diggs on an island.
Please put Diggs on an island. Mike Evans will go for 300 yards and 5 touchdowns if they put Diggs on an island with Mike Evans.
Goni, how you feel about Scotty Miller as a dark horse deep league flex play this week?
Nah.
What if Godwin doesn't play the full game?
Godwin actually, I'm pretty sure he's been practicing recently. I think he might actually be good to go this week. I don't know. We'll see. I don't want Scotty Miller though. Actually, I'm taking the Bucks. The Bucks won last year. They're gonna win again this year. It's just they're good, man. Give me the under on it though. The 51.5. I'm a little worried about Zeke though. If you have a pivot option, I would pivot off of Zeke. Honestly, these teams faced each other last year in the Thursday night season opener, and Zeke didn't really muster a lot of yards. They didn't run the ball a lot because you just plain don't run against the Buccaneers defense. But at the same time, Dak threw the ball, I think 40 or 50 times also. So I feel like they're going to mimic that game plan. Same result though. They're going to lose the game, and that's just what it is.
I wouldn't be surprised if the only points the Cowboys get this game are Kyle Trask coming in at the end of the game and kneeing the football after we pinned them. You know, they went for it on fourth down. They were down so much, and we pinned them, you know, inside the 5, and Kyle Trask isn't paying attention, and he accidentally knees in the end zone for a safety. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the only points they score all game.
Do you think it comes down to a QB sneak by the Cowboys with 15 seconds left or whatever it was?
I sure hope so.
Man.
Lord knows they'll botch that call.
What a way to go.
America's team, boys.
America's team.
All right. Our Monday night football game, the final game of week 1. We've got a spicy one as far as storyline again, not so spicy as far as the matchup. We've got Russell Wilson returning to Seattle, Broncos at Seahawks. Do y'all want to verify that it's in Seattle, or are you just gonna believe me?
Game.
We got Seahawks plus 6.5. Over under is at 44.5. Honestly, it could be Seahawks plus 26.5, and I'd probably still take the Broncos.
Yeah, it's a Broncos for me.
I don't like the fact that it's only 6.5, though. I feel like that's a trap.
It's very trappy.
And like, I'm not by any means saying that, you know, the Seahawks are going to win this game, but like, maybe it'll be closer. Like we've said before, Vegas is aliens. It's not 7. It's not 7.5. It's 6.5. So that's kind of what scares me on it. That being said, Broncos under. You're firing up all your Broncos. You're firing up probably DK Metcalf because you have to, and no one else. Like no Kenneth Walker, no Tyler Lockett.
Shaw Penny.
Maybe, yeah.
Probably run last year.
Probably because he did have a good run. You're right, but he also had Russell Wilson last year. So I don't know. We'll see. If you have to play Rashad Penny, you have to play Rashad Penny. It is what it is. Sometimes you're kind of locked into that kind of thing. But
yeah,
I feel like everybody that got DK Metcalf this year went into the draft saying, "I'm not drafting DK Metcalf," but like he just dropped, and like there comes a point where you have to pick him up. I'm glad that I don't have him in any league. I think he's going to be feast or famine. And he's going to live or die by Drew Lock. Poor guy's got all the talent in the world and isn't going to be able to show it. He's obviously with a body like his and a skill set like his, he's always going to be fantasy relevant, but he's going to be infuriating to put in your lineup because I promise he's going to let you down. He's going to have 5-point games. Multiple. He is.
And then you're going to sit him, and he's going to have a 25-point game.
Yeah. Oh, well, you should never sit DK Metcalf because where you got him this year, you got to start him. But he's absolutely going to infuriate you. You're going to get the Tyler Lockett treatment out of him. But yeah, I'm taking the Broncos plus 6.5 easy. What did I say the over/under was? 44.5. I'm taking the under just because I don't think Seattle contributes to the point total. I think the world is excited to see the Javonte Williams Melvin Gordon split. We're excited to see Russell Wilson, how the Cortland Sutton Jerry Jeudy tandem goes, and how much they pass it compared to run it, or how much they run it compared to passing it. Obviously we want to just assume that they're going to be passing it more, but this has always been a run first offense. So I'm more excited to see how they scheme, how they play call this game than the game itself.
This is a prototypical fade the public game, like Goni said. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of public money on the Broncos here, but the Sharps are keeping it low. I'm going to take Seattle here just purely as a fade the public if you're into betting. But obviously I like Broncos to win the game. There's a lot of talk about Sutton being Russell Wilson's favorite target in camp and in preseason. But Vegas says Jerry Jeudy is being the highest leading receiver on the Broncos this week. So if you have Jerry Jeudy, you're salivating. I actually like Albert O and Noah Fant in this game if you're streaming tight ends. Albert O is the only warm-bodied guy in Denver. I like Noah Fant, man. Why not? What's not to like about Noah Fant? Seattle's got to throw the ball, I think, to keep up in this game.
Geno Smith is what's not to like. I'd feel more comfortable with Drew Lock for Noah Fant purposes solely.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, if you're Noah Fant is obviously if you're streaming tight ends only, right? And it's between Noah Fant and another turd. I like Noah Fant.
Okay.
Yep. So those are our games for the week. Just thrilled for it to be football season. That's all I have to say about that. Next, we're going to give you our DFS lineups, and I know I already talked about it at the beginning of the episode, so we'll just jump right into it. We're going to the way this worked is we had a $60,000 budget to build the team. And of course, higher tier players cost more, take more out of your budget, lower tier less. And we're going to start with Begley, go to Goni, and then myself. We're going to go by position.
$7,500. Give me Trey Lance. I think he has the upside to be the highest scoring quarterback this week.
I went Jalen Hurts for $8,000. Philly versus Detroit. I like what he can do with the arm and with the legs this week, boys.
I went with Jameis Winston going against the very poor secondary that is the Atlanta Falcons. I got him for $6,700.
That Goni, I don't know about you, but I'm already not worried about Wayne's team.
Yeah, I feel good about it.
Already pretty confident. At running back, I've got Jonathan Taylor, $10,200, the most expensive player in DFS this week. Colts typically demolish Houston. Love Jonathan Taylor to give me 100 and a tutty this week. Then I've got Travis Etienne for $6,200. He's the only pony in town against the Commanders. James Robinson is absolutely not going to get a full workload. He's going to be on a pitch count. Etienne's by himself.
I've got Derrick Henry for $9,700 against the Giants. I think he absolutely goes over 100 yards, gets a touchdown. He is the focal point of the Tennessee Titans. Nothing's changed since last year. I also have Dameon Pierce for $5,400 for a little bit of value. He's playing against the Colts. He looked great in the preseason. He's been named the starter going forward. And hopefully he just carries over the momentum he's brought from the preseason.
I have Aaron Jones. I'm going to add Minnesota, the 23rd ranked rush defense. And then I have DeAndre Swift going against the Eagles. I'm the 24th ranked for a combined $15,000 for both of my running backs. Love it. Way better off than both of you on overall running back output for sure.
Goni, go ahead with your receivers. I'm loading up my app.
Sure. I've got Mike Williams for $6,600 against the Raiders, Chargers versus Raiders. I think this is going to be a shootout. Like I said before, I've been high on Mike Williams all year, and I expect a big game out of him to start the season. I've also got DJ Moore for $6,400 facing up with Cleveland. Baker Mayfield is there. I think that DJ Moore's good every year, so I think it's a little upgrade tick bringing in Baker Mayfield. And I took Hunter Renfrow, just another piece in that Chargers Raiders game. $5,900, a little bit of value out of that there, so I feel pretty good about it.
I like it. I went Michael Pittman for $7,200. I think he's the number one wide receiver this week, or has the potential to be. It's a really high upside play for me. Keenan Allen at $7,400. I want a piece of that Chargers Raiders game. It's still Keenan's show. And then I like T. Higgins at the Steelers for $7,000. Everybody knows how I feel about T. Higgins.
T. Higgins.
I have Michael Pittman as well. I think going against Houston he's going to absolutely go nuts. And for $7,200, it was great value. Of course, I went with my boy DJ Moore. I think Baker's really going to try and absolutely just annihilate the Browns, and I think Carolina's going to give him the opportunity to do that, and DJ Moore is going to reap a lot of those benefits. My last receiver is a guy with a lot of upside, but I might obviously have to take him out for injury purposes. I picked up Alan Lazard. Somebody's got to catch the ball in Green Bay. The Vikings have a terrible secondary. They are the 31st ranked secondary going into the season. Obviously, his preseason ranks, things can change, but he was only 6,500 and has a lot of upside if he can play with Aaron Rodgers just not having any other options other than him.
Yep. Tight end, I had Robert Tonyan in my original entry. I will roll with him if he plays. Like Wayne just said, somebody's going to catch the ball in Green Bay. For my flex, I've got Ramondre Stevenson. Ty Montgomery, I'm expecting him to be out on Sunday, which will leave Ramondre to me as the top pass-catching back. I'm going to roll the dice on Bill Belichick. Please don't burn me, Bill. Throw the ball to Ramondre. For my defense, I'm taking Miami against New England. I think that's a low-scoring game. I don't think New England gets above 21.
For mine, I have T.J. Hawkinson at the tight end position for 5,700. I thought that was good value. He's facing the 30th ranked defense against tight ends, and I just look for him to get plenty of targets, just picking up where he left off last year. And the flex, Alvin Kamara, I think he absolutely eats against the Falcons. Terrible defense, terrible team in general. And then for the defense, I took the Commanders against Jacksonville for 3,700. It was just straight up value play, to be honest.
Yep, my tight end saved some money here with a guy that I think is going to be a PPR machine in Cole Kmet. Got him for $5,000. My flex is the guy that's I think my flex is just leaps and bounds better than your all's flex. I got Run CMC, the second most expensive player in DFS for $9,500. And then Goni, great minds think alike. Got some value with going Commanders for defense at 3,700, facing a very poor Jacksonville offense. Yep. So my team is Jameis Winston, Aaron Jones, D Swift, Alan Lazard, subject to change, Michael Pittman Jr., DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, Christian McCaffrey, and the Commanders.
I'm not worried about that team at all, and the Commanders defense will be your all's downfall this week. I'm sorry to your squads. I've got Travis Etienne. I've got Jonathan Taylor and Ramondre Stevenson in my flex with Michael Pittman, Keenan Allen, T. Higgins, Robert Tonyan, and the Dolphins defense.
And the winning squad this week, Jalen Hurts, Derrick Henry, Damian Pierce, Mike Williams, DJ Moore, Hunter Renfrow, TJ Hawkinson, Alvin Kamara, and the Commanders.
Not worried in the slightest about that team.
Yeah, this is easy dubs for me this week. If it goes like this the rest of the year, just give me the trophy.
So we're doing +1 for first place and -1 for third, correct?
Correct.
That's right.
Let's
0
go.
points for second. Get relegated if you're in last. That's what you get. And then I'll just look forward to a lot of +1s. I'll probably have 17 points at the end of the year.
Probably not.
It'll never happen. We're going to finish with 4 really quick Q&As. These are going to be from Reddit. Cap notes, 12-team Superflex. Side A, Jacobs in a 23-1, or side B, A.J. Dillon and Rashad Bateman?
Give me A.J. Dillon and Rashad Bateman. I think Josh Jacobs is on his way out. I don't know what he's going to do next year, where he's going to go next year. It might be a terrible spot. He might go to a place that splits carries. I love the 2023, but give me the surefire. A.J. Dillon's going to have a big role in an offense next year. I think it's going to be still in Green Bay. And, Rashad Bateman, he's same for him. Give me the 2 surefire guys over a guy that's trending downwards in a draft pick.
I'll take those as well, just for the continuity of those guys, Bateman and Dillon, playing for their teams and the role that they'll have going forward, as opposed to the uncertainty.
Agree. Jacobs is a depreciating asset, so the sooner you can get out of him, the better. I think A.J. Dillon is worth a little, probably worth a 23-1, if not a little more. And I think I'd rather have Bateman than Jacobs right now. We're slamming side B. Deckham 10-team Superflex. James Robinson and Rondelle Moore for Tony Pollard.
Go ahead.
This one's very close for me. This one's very, very close for me.
This one got the patented Wayne pause.
I think
I know.
I think
that tells you.
I think I'm going Tony Pollard just because I think it's a dynasty, right?
Yes, it's a dynasty.
I think Tony Pollard is going to take over the role next year. I think he's got RB1 potential next year. I don't think any of these guys. I think James Robinson is done. If ETN is successful this year, go ahead and kiss him goodbye. Rondelle Moore, there's just, what is he, the third option when everybody's healthy?
Probably. Maybe the fourth if you like Ertz.
Give me the upside for next year and Tony Pollard.
I'm taking the Rondelle Moore side on that. I don't love James Robinson, but he's another depth piece running back for you. Rondelle Moore, I like his future upside. He's going to be locked into the slot position solely all the time. And Tony Pollard, you don't know. You have to have the Cowboys re-sign him, or you have to have him go to a favorable situation. It's just a lot of unknown variables. And either way, he's not built to handle a workhorse load. So I don't see him being an RB1 personally.
I like the Pollard side. To me, I think after this year, this is going to be the cheapest you can buy a Pollard. I think Dallas has to get him involved in the offense this year, losing Amari Cooper and with Gallup having some health concerns. I think he has standalone flex value. I think he's not going to be as cheap now. He'll be more expensive at the end of the year than he is now. That's what I'm trying to say. At 2, Bruce Wayne, 12-team half-point PPR. Jay Jetta for Kyle Pitts and ETN.
You know who I'm taking? I'm taking the generational talent, the guy that just came into the league setting records. Give me Jay Jetta. Travis Etienne at the end of the day is on a terrible offense. Kyle Pitts is on a terrible offense as well. Jay Jetta eats, man. He absolutely eats. I don't know. I know you're taking points at two positions, but man, Jay Jetta's output could probably almost match both of them.
Maybe, I don't know. That's a lot of points. Either way, I'm taking Justin Jefferson as well, though. Just because of ETN, to be honest with you. We don't know what he is. We know what Kyle Pitts is, and for the positional scarcity of the tight end, he's definitely a good piece to have. But Justin Jefferson's just phenomenal, so I'm sticking with him.
If this was full PPR, I'm taking ETN and Pitts, but in the half point, I'm staying with Jetta. Doug Peterson's going to throw the ball. He always has as a head coach and as an OC. So I think ETN's value as a PPR back is through the roof this year. And Kyle Pitts gives you that positional advantage. 1,000 yards receiving as a rookie tight end is unprecedented. I think he is the unicorn everybody said he was. He just got stuck on a horrible offense, so he didn't quite shine as bright. Fortnite Gamer 6, this is the last one for the day. 10-team PPR. Waddle, a 23-1, and Schultz for CD and Kelsey.
You know what I'm taking? Waddle, Schultz, and a 2023-1. I think Schultz is better. In this reflected in my tight end rankings, I think Schultz has a better year than Travis Kelsey. So I think I'm winning on that part. I know the trade probably has Kelsey as the upgrade. But then you combine Jalen Waddle with a 2023-1. And I think that's got CD value.
Yeah, I'm hanging on to the Waddle side as well. I think Kelsey's better this year for sure, but he's also a depreciating asset. You really only have maybe a year, maybe two of elite production out of him. His best days may even be behind him. So you're really just getting CD Lamb for the future. But you've got a young wide receiver in Waddle. You've got a great young tight end in Schultz. I think he's only 26, and you got a 23 first rounder. So that side.
I like CD and Kelsey here. I think Kelsey gives you 2 years. I don't think he's depreciating as quickly as you guys think he is. I'll take 2 years of tight end 1 production from Kelsey. Schultz scares me because I don't know if he's going to be a Cowboy next year. Dallas didn't want to pay him this year. We drafted Jake Ferguson out of Wisconsin. He played really well in the preseason. I think if he plays well, they'll let Dalton Schultz walk instead of putting more money on the books. And Waddle's situation scares me in Miami, man. Can Tua support 2 wide receivers down there? Give me the guy that I know is going to get 150 targets on an offense that's going to throw the ball more than it's going to run it. I like CeeDee Kelsey here.
Yeah, but that sounds a lot better than what it actually is, saying 2 more years of tight end 1 production. Like, that's not saying much.
Nah, dude, like tight end 8 through 12, it doesn't take a lot to get there to be a tight end 1. You're not anything special, just being a back end tight end 1 kind of guy.
But, okay, when I say tight end 1, I meant the tight end 1, which, by the way, last year, Mark Andrews would have been, I think, running back 5 and wide receiver 8. If you look at total fantasy points scored, being the number 1 tight end has a lot of value.
No, I understand, and I'm not saying Kelsey's going to fall off by any means this year. I'm just saying that it might not be his most productive year he's ever had.
That's just
getting older.
An incredibly bold statement to say he'll be the tight end 1 for the next 3 years.
I said 2.
Well, but this year and is it just this year and next year that you're talking about, or 2 more years?
This year, next year.
Nah, I don't think he's the tight end 1 this year. I faded him to tight end 4, and I stand by it. Here we are.
I get it. We're on different ends of the spectrums, and we have a doink in place that reflects that.
As we should. Should. I did my tight end rankings middle of June, and they've stayed pretty true throughout the offseason.
If you were guaranteed 2 tight end 1 or 2 seasons out of Kelsey,
listen,
the tight end 1 or the tight end 2, you're taking this trade, right?
We come here. People come to the Mad Fantasy Football Podcast for our opinions. You know, if our opinions match the ADP, then why would they come here? We give them what we feel like are the hot takes that are going to happen, and I feel like Travis Kelce is a fade this year. He's still. I have him at tight end 4, I believe. I have Mark Andrews, Kyle Pitts, and Dalton Schultz ahead of him.
Just because you have an opinion doesn't mean it doesn't suck. It's a terrible opinion.
You've proven that. You've proven that this entire podcast. You're right. I agree.
If you're trying to win this year, then yeah, I would take the trade. If I'm trying to win this year, I feel like that trade puts me over the top. But if I think I can compete anyways, then no.
I don't. Dalton Schultz scares me, man. What if he goes to Jacksonville? Right? And I understand you can play the what if scenario for any player, just like the injuries. But to me, if you look at what Dallas has done, they're not committing to Dalton Schultz. We got Jake Ferguson in the draft. He's looked good. I don't see Dallas committing to Dalton Schultz.
They probably won't, because they've already paid Zeke. They've already paid Dak. Like, they can't afford to be paying all these people. And Dalton Schultz had a great year last year. Can they afford to pay a tight end, tier 1 tight end money? Probably not. They probably just literally can't afford it. It's not that they don't like him. It's not that they don't think he's good. Their money is tied up in 20 other different spots.
That's exactly, and that's Dalton Schultz's value. He's the number 2 receiving option on an offense that's going to throw the ball 35 times a game. That's his value this year. If he goes anywhere else, he loses value. I don't. Give me Kelsey. Give me 2 years of Kelsey over the 5 more years of Schultz. Sorry, that's just how I feel about it. I would rather take 2 elite years of Kelsey and stream tight end than I would have to rely on Dalton Schultz. Again, what if he goes to Jacksonville or Houston? He drops some value. His value goes to almost nil.
If somebody's going to pay him tier 1 tight end money, it's to use him.
Sure.
Regardless of where he goes.
Good tight ends go to bad teams and they die. We'll see with Noah Fant this year. We'll see what happens, but it happens all the time.
What does Noah Fant have to do with?
I think Noah Fant was a good tight end in Denver. Just like Evan Ingram was a good tight end prospect, right? He can't catch. He's got brick hands.
Noah Fant was average at best. At absolute best, he was average.
Did you or did you not trade for Noah Fant?
I did, and what did he do?
That was
for
to come
us?
off Austin Hooper, though.
But that's what I was saying. To me, if you look at tight ends across the league, there's no great tight ends on bad teams. You can have great receivers on bad teams.
Is Kyle Pitts ranked high for you? Are the Falcons good?
But like I said, I called him a unicorn for that very reason.
Okay, so you're already wrong there.
DJ Hawkinson?
Yeah, he might fit the mold, but he's only had 1 top 5 year.
He just gets hurt every year. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, tight ends. There's a correlation between good offenses and good tight ends. And if Dalton Schultz goes to a bad offense, he has no value.
I mean,
give me CeeDee Lamb. He's going to get 150 targets. I can't say the same for Waddle this year.
Noah Fant finished barely in the top 12 tight ends. That's not
Tight
good.
end one.
That's not good.
He was on a bad offense last year. The point I'm just trying to make
what's the point? Why are you using Noah Fant as an example, as somebody going from a good team to a bad team? Let's see what they do. When he was on a good team and did bad, and then he went to a bad team and he's going to do bad.
Okay. All right. Well, let me take my example back again. I'll ask you. Tell me a terrible offense that has a great tight end. Well, we'll exclude Kyle Pitts because again, I think he's a unicorn.
Okay, we'll exclude a prime example. Got it. T.J. Hawkinson.
Nah.
Are the Ravens going to have a stellar offense?
He had one top 5.
Are the Ravens projected to have a great offense this year? No. Mark Andrews.
I think the Raiders are absolutely going to be above a league average offense this year, 100%. I'll put a doink.
You've done nothing but harp on the Ravens. They're not gonna be able to score because they don't have any receivers.
I said the Ravens are going to run the ball. Did I ever mention they're scoring? They're going to run the ball a ton.
Man, the Q&A getting spicy.
You put a lot of lies into my mouth right there. I didn't say any of those things that you said I said. I'm just saying there's a correlation between good offenses and good tight ends. That's facts. And I'll ask you again to prove me wrong. I agree. Kyle Pitts is the outlier.
T.J. Hawkinson. Why are we ignoring T.J. Hawkinson?
Because he had one top 5 year. That's it. He had one.
He's young.
We'll see. But I think Lions are now a good offense. I don't think they're a bad offense as it stands. They have, like Goni said earlier.
Are the 49ers a top-tier offense?
Yes, absolutely the Niners are. Absolutely. Are you kidding me?
Bro.
Do you see what they did last year?
Bro.
All right, boys, wrap this up.
It's crazy. Take Kelsey, take CD. Waddle and Schultz's situation.
That's also really weird that you're buying Logan Thomas shares as a sleeper, that Cole Kmet has flown up in the ADP, but that's neither here nor there.
Cole Kmet is just hype right now. We haven't seen it.
Yeah, but we all agree that it's most likely going to happen.
He's gonna get volume. He'll get targets. We'll see.
All right. Well, how many more examples do you want? All right, Mad Mob. The next time we see you all will be at the end of the Week 1 games. Everybody will be hyped. We're coming off of it. We're going to have an episode posted Tuesday morning with a lot of information on what we saw, what we liked, what we didn't like, some guys that we feel like you can snag off the waiver wires. If you all want to get in on the Q&A, we're doing far fewer questions, so just send it to us. First come, first serve. Other than that, Mad Mob, we appreciate you tuning into this. Enjoy this week of football. Enjoy it. It's back. And good luck to everybody in your fantasy league, unless you're playing me.
Football's back.
Football's back. Fantasy for MVP.